pickers. Thought it'd be fun to kind of go back through what I just played and do like a little harmonic analysis on it. Um, this month's challenge had us playing a harmonized lead. So I played around some backing tracks, but ultimately I decided to do a standalone composition. Just kind of started noodling around, ended up in D. So started to outline a D chord there. But I wanted to backtrack a little bit because I did put an intro on it after my noodling around. So what did I play there? It was a D first inversion chord. So you take the third. It's kind of where Jimi Hendrix ends up, right? So that's your D first inversion. Then you might consider that like an F diminished, but it's also a D diminished chord, just a passing chord in there. Then an E half diminished chord. You could play an E minor there, maybe a little more melancholy and sad there. Then I played a D sharp 7 chord there, which is a tritone substitution for the A chord, which is the 5 chord of D. But I made it augmented by putting that sharp 5th there, which leads us nicely into the D chord, and that's a D out of the C kind of from Caged. So the melody is kind of that, right? So you're taking that D, walking it up. This might be like a blues turnaround in other ways. But this is kind of functioning as a 5 chord with the 6th in it, maybe. Up here, well, what are we? Could be like a 7 chord there, or it might just be another way of playing a D chord. Or I'm sorry, a G chord, another 4 chord there. And then back to that sort of E half diminished or minor sound. Then an 5 chord with the 6th in it. And that kind of represents the 5 chord. And then back to 1. So I did that a couple times. But the second time through, I kind of threw in like a little B section where I slid into the higher register of these harmonized sixths. So this is like a G chord off that G triad there at the 7th and 8th fret. And then down to a G here on the 3rd fret. Then sliding it up to that A, which is the 5, G, drop the 3rd. Now you've got a minor 4. Oh, there's our D chord. And now we've got open G and E, which is like our 4 chord with a 6 on it. And then we hang there for a second before going back forward. Now that could just be like a little pass off that C position D chord, but that also happens to be an A augmented, which is A is the 5 of D. So we've got that right there too, because E is right there. There's your A in the root position. So then I went back into the melody, kind of did this walk down. Just had one finger follow the next. And then I went to a lower register just kind of to go back to that B section a little bit, which kind of outlines the 1-4-5 progression. So that's like an A 6 chord, because that's the 6th. So that's E. That's F sharp, so that's the 6 of the A. That's like a first position G inversion. If you have G down here, there's a G chord there, but with the B in the bass, so the 3rd. So we go there. Right there, that's your A, because it's got the C sharp in the bass, which is the first inversion of A. Now we're up to the 1, which is a D. I'm putting the 6th in there. And now down to a G with the 6th. But then I did this kind of thing where I went up to the A, hit the third, there's an A chord, a low A chord, but then just slid it up to that augmented sound again. Really kind of into that augmented diminished stuff. So, and then back to the beginning basically. Got back up to this point, back to that half diminished chord, and then this is what you would call like an A, which is the 5 chord of D, with the 6th or the 13th right there, down to that augmented, and then a good old D6-9 chord right there. And it gets that because it's got the 6th of D right there and the 2nd degree of the D, but it's on the higher register, so it's called a 9. It's a whole other thing. But anyway, and then just kind of this cool walk up at the end, which gets us back to another D6-9 chord just up here at the 10th fret. So anyway, I hope that was somewhat enlightening onto what's going on there harmonically. I thought this was kind of a cool melancholy piece to put together for a rainy January here in the Mid-Atlantic, and look forward to seeing everybody else's playing. Thanks.